up, YouTube? Click that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, turn on the notifications, and enjoy the video. Let's watch a little something something on YouTube, shall we? Let's reacting. Okay, let's watch. This is Crash, the year video games died.
They called it a fever. In the early 1980s, arcade games were huge. A golden era kick-started by Space Invaders and held aloft by hits like Pac-Man, Galaga, and Donkey Kong. Players were keen to fill coin boxes, and the market obliged. Video games were big business. Atari were the vanguard of the industry, backed by the financial might of Warner and dominant in the home console market. The VCS, later known as the 2600, was the standard. With the biggest games and aggressive marketing, its sales performance was stellar. Atari couldn't manufacture enough cartridges to meet demand. A license to print money, retailers committed to sales a year in advance. But where there's gold, there's a rush.
Uh-oh. What's
Atari had no shortage of rivals. Mattel's Intellivision, the Fairchild Channel F, Bally Astrocade, ColecoVision, Vectrex, and the Magnavox Odyssey 2. Worse still, with no control over cartridge publishing, third-party games started to appear on the market.
Activision's that old?
Activision had the talent to deliver hit titles like Pitfall, River Raid, and
Whoa,
Kaboom.
I didn't know this.
But they were joined by a cavalcade of games of more questionable quality. During 1982, the total number of games for the system doubled. In 1983, they doubled again. Shelf space was stretched thin, and per-game revenue raced to the bottom. Atari weren't concerned. They were in the lead. Millions of dollars spent on exclusive licenses, tie-ins, and massive marketing budgets. The more they spent, the more they earned. The games themselves didn't matter. Pac-Man was the hottest coin-op of the era, and Atari had the exclusive console rights. However, with a cruel time budget,
Pac-Man looks so minimalistic and basic. Altius,
and
thank
the
you very
limited
good
hardware of the
thank
2600,
you.
the final product was disappointing. Crude graphics, grating sound, and flickering ghosts. The expectation of authentic arcade action fell short. In the run-up to Christmas 1982, Pac-Man was joined by two other lackluster blockbusters. Raiders of the Lost Ark, written off as an inferior version of Pitfall, and E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Oh no.
The worst game of all time.
Oh no.
But it was just a mediocre tie-in.
I don't know. Have they tried Fall Guys?
It was supposed to be an
No,
easy
just
cash
kidding.
grab. Never the cause, just a symptom.
God, what is this?
A few disappointing games
What
aren't
is
enough to sink an
this?
industry. But when marketing
It's
promise fails to deliver,
terrible.
a creeping realization emerged. Everybody knew it. The Atari was obsolete. A cold 1982 was coming to an end. With no warning, Warner announced earnings for the last quarter. And it wasn't good news. The systems just weren't selling. Unsold cartridges were being returned from stores in droves. Instead of meeting their ambitious growth predictions, revenue had dropped 50%.
This is
Stock
a jammer.
prices plunged, and a panic hit Wall Street.
GME, what happened? What happened to the diamond hands? What happened?
Confidence in the nascent industry
Shameful!
evaporated.
Shameful!
Total losses for the year stacked up to $500 million. No amount of marketing could save Atari from the truth. It was game over. The upstart company, originally driven by curiosity, was torn apart by corporate greed. Rapid growth at any price. Where Atari led, their rivals followed, for better or for worse. The Intellivision brand was liquidated, Coleco and Magnavox both left the games industry, and a plethora of clones were quietly discontinued. Atari was sold for a song to Commodore's Jack Tramiel. Games were consigned to clearance bins, and shelf space reallocated in favor of hotter trends. Cabbage Patch Kids, Transformers, Care Bears, He-Man. The video game fad was over. Dead and buried. Gone, but not forgotten. America wasn't the only market for video games, nor were consoles the only option.
What was the other option?
8-bit microcomputers had taken hold. The BBC Micro, Commodore 64, and ZX Spectrum. For those playing Manic Miner, Attic Attack, or Elite, it was like the crash never happened. Meanwhile, in Japan, their console market was just taking off.
There we go. That's what we like to hear.
Releasing their first machines.
Let's go.
Atari were in talks with Nintendo to distribute their console in America, but in light of their trouble, Nintendo decided to take control.
Good idea.
In 1985, the NES arrived in the USA. In the years that followed, video games saw a return to bestseller lists. And it's mostly been plain sailing ever since. But what about today? Could it ever happen again? Perhaps it already has. Whatever happened to skateboarding games?
It already
3D
has?
platformers, real-time strategy, World War II shooters, motion controls. What's going to happen to block-building games, open-world action-adventure, early access survival sandboxes?
Wait, he's saying it already has what? Like, boomed? Or it's crashing? I don't understand. I mustn't... Wait. Let's see what he said. Oh, it already has boomed.
And it's mostly been plain sailing ever since. But what about today? Could it ever happen again?
Oh, okay.
Perhaps it already has.
Okay.
Whatever happened to block building games, open world action adventure,
for a second.
Early access survival
Tommy is saying for the tier 1.
What's popular today won't remain forever. Trend follows trend. And while those who pin their hopes on a single success might suffer, the industry is broader and more robust than ever. The truth is, video games never died in 1983. They just respawned.
Good one. Good one, dude. You plugged
Thanks
the gamer
watching,
term.
and until next time, farewell.
Well, that was cute. All right.